Welcome. This is David Boles, Human Meme. Today's topic, blood. 10-sentence stories. In the Blood series of 10-sentence stories, originally published in David Boles blogs, located at bolesblogs.com, we examine the pulsing life of us. In our first story, history rings out against the all of us in It Ends in Sheep. 10-sentence story number 104. Originally published December 1st, 2010. It started with a simple request. "Sir, could you please stand over there?" and ended in a gunshot. Happy to oblige the uniformed man, Lenny and his family fell in line and felt the rubbery rub of gloves against their sacred bodies as official inspecting fingers penetrated the folds of his clothing and poked the private parts of his wife and children. Next. Lenny and his family moved forward and were met by another man in another uniform holding a box of matches. "Now we test your loyalty." The official struck a match and held it under Lenny's outstretched palm. "The longer you can hold your hand against the flame, the more sacred your dedication." Lenny struggled to withstand the crisping of his blackening skin as smoke swirled between his fingers as the match finally glowed into blue and then amber embers. Next. Lenny clenched his aching hand and placed it in his armpit for protection as another man, dressed entirely in black, approached his family. "You have been especially selected for further enhancement," said the man with the eyes that matched the color of his suit. "Please kneel before me for the extended memory examination." Lenny looked at the man's unflinching face and then saw his teary-eyed wife urging him on while his children stood, trembling, by her side, refusing to meet his eye. So Lenny kneeled before the man as the snout of a silvery gun was placed between his eyes. "Think of sheep," the man said in a rapid-fire staccato that matched the retort of the pistol. And the last thing Lenny remembered as he fell into amber was wondering if he passed the memory test or not. In our second story, we are again shocked by the sounds of gunshots and politics and the mouth of Sarah Palin in There Will Be Blood Libel. 10-sentence story number 110. Originally published January 19, 2011. Gunshots ring across the city square. Bread is tossed in the air. A pickle flops from its jar onto the ground like a foundering fish. They're down and covered in brains and bleeding for their lives. Out of the dust steps a woman wearing crosshairs and pointing not at the dead and dying, but at herself, as the fouled object of derision and disrespect. And she's unfathomably angry, not at the shooter, but at the rest of the world. A gasping globe mocks her continued lack of a human harmonic as she spins wailing tales into a vendetta victory of the dead. She quits and claims leadership. She claims she's been blood libeled in the still wet blood of fallen others. Will she ever wipe the blood from her jaw? Or will she continue to bite her lip to smear false libel across her teeth? And in our final story, what does it take to fire violence into the air and into the beyond? Let's find out. The Missing Middle Finger, 10-sentence story number 101. First published November 10, 2010. Julie pulled the smoking gun from Amber's neck and blew smoke away from the barrel as blood spattered the air in droplets of fading life. Amy sputtered, "Why?" as dark red oozed from deep within her and pooled on the ground beneath her neck. "You can take my man, but never my money," Julie growled as she tucked the gun back into her pants near the sweating small of her back. "Your man was my brother," Amy gasped as a switchblade rolled away from her unclenching hand and rattled across the floor. "And he wanted you dead." "Now you're both dead, and the money's mine." Julie pulled off Amy's cowboy boots and aligned the bare soles of her feet to create a numbers mosaic that made up the combination of the wall safe. Julie spun the numbers on the lock and pulled open the safe, where she found only the bloody remains of a middle finger. Her middle finger, that was previously cleaved from her hand by her man. Furious, Julie turned to see Amy smiling up at her from the floor, and she took the dead finger and hovered it above the ragged stump of its former home for Amy to see. "Very funny. Now, where's the money?" Amy giggled as blood foamed from her lips as the light faded forever from her eyes. "Your man spent all the money and gave you the finger. Your finger." Julie kneeled next to Amy and delicately placed her found middle finger in the frothing corner of Amy's mouth like a shriveled stogie. "Now I'm giving it to you." Thank you for listening. Be a human, me.